Hi guys, welcome to this lesson where we will be looking at direct and indirect proportion for GCSE grade 7 and above. So stay tuned. So just before we begin, I just want to introduce you some language. Y is directly proportional to X, or a question could say Y is indirectly proportional to X. And when it's indirectly, it's got this 1 over. And this symbol here is to show proportionality. Now let's go straight into a question because the best way to actually understand this is through questions. So on to the first question. B is directly proportional to A. When A is equal to 8, B is equal to 10. Find the value of B when A is equal to 13. Right, let's just focus on these first two lines here. When a question says B is directly proportional to A, we will write down what I showed you at the start. B is directly proportional to A. Now, there may be different languages used to indicate directly proportional. So you can say, for example, varies directly with A. So you might say B varies directly to A. It means the same thing. And we'll look at that as we do several questions, all right? So B is directly proportional to A. Now, step number one, we will find a formula. We will replace this by equal K. All right, so from now on, we won't write this step anymore. We'll just write B is equal to K, and then we'll write our A here. So what effectively happened is this is simply replaced by equals K. All right, so remember that. So B is equal to K. You can start from this line on the future questions that we will do. Right, so B is equal to K times A. It says when A is equal to 8, B is equal to 10. So we are going to ignore this for now. Using the first two sentences, we will make an equation and find the value of K, which is our constant for proportionality. All right. So how do we do that? Well, simply we just sub those values in. So B is equal to 10 here. So we say 10 is equal to, and K, we don't know this, okay, we're going to find this, and we do know what A is equal to 8, so K times 8. Now, how do we find what K is? Well, we'll take the 8 to the other side by dividing. So K would be equal to 10 divided by 8, and you could use your calculator and find the answer to that, and you should find 1.25. So the value of K is 1.25. Now that we have found the value of K, we'll simply substitute it in here, and we will rewrite our formula. So B is equal to, now we know what K is, so K is 1.25 times by A. And this is the formula that we now will use to answer the question. You see, we haven't actually answered the question yet. All we've done is use the first two sentences to find our K. So let's answer the question. It says, find the value of B when A is equal to 13. Now you will notice I'm using an uppercase B and they've been using a smaller case B. No problem. I should really write it there as well so that it's consistent with that. Okay? Just in case you're wondering, is it a different B or not? So B, we want to find when A is equal to 13. So therefore B will be equal to 1.25 times by A, and we know what A is. A is 13. So get a calculator and stick this into your calculator, and you should get B is equal to 16.25. Right, so that's the first question out of the way. On to the next one. It says Y varies directly to the square of X. Now I've changed the language. So this is the same as Y is directly proportional to the square of X. Okay, and there's something else here. There's another twist where I've used the square of X. So let's see what that looks like. Let's grab our pen here and read the rest of the question as well. When X is equal to 6, Y is equal to 18. Now you may have noticed in the last question, I found a formula. And the question didn't ask me to find a formula. I simply found it. It's very, very important that you remember to do this. A common mistake that students make is they try to answer this straight away. And obviously they get the question wrong. So remember, step number one is to find the formula and find your K value. So on to this question, Y varies directly to the square of X. I did say in the last example that I won't write this sign anymore, but I'll do it just one more time. So Y varies directly to the square of X. What does the square of X look like? It's X squared. When X is equal to 6, Y is equal to 18. Now, here comes our step. This will get replaced with equal K. All right, and then you're having the times by X squared. You don't really even need this, so let's not put that in there. So Y is equal to K times by x squared. Remember, this is replacing with that. Okay? So, when x is equal to 6, y is equal to 18. So, 18 is going to be what y is equal to k times by 6 with a square. So, 6 squared. What's 6 squared? That gives us 36, so it's k times 36. Once again, we want to find the value of k, so we divide 36 over here, so you get 18 over 36 is equal to k, and that means k is equal to a half. So now we have the value of k, we'll substitute it back in here, so therefore y is equal to k, which is a half, times by x squared, and that is our formula that we'll use. Now we will answer this question, which is to find the value of x when y is equal to 32. So now, this time y is equal to 32, so we'll substitute that here. Half times by x. X is what we are trying to find this time, so it's x squared. We just need to solve this, just like any equation. So multiply on this side by 2, so that gives us 64 is equal to just x squared, and we square root x here, and we square root 64 here, so therefore square root of 64 is equal to what x is, and of course x is equal to 8, and we're only taking the positive value here. Right, on to our final question for the directly proportional, and then we'll move on to indirect proportional after this. So b is directly proportional to the cube root of a. When a is equal to 27, b is equal to 4.5. Find the value of a when b is equal to 7.5. Why don't you pause the video, try this one, and then press play again when you're ready to go through it with me. All right, so hopefully you've had a good chance. I'll go straight through this one with less explanation this time. So it's just for you to basically mark your solutions. So b is equal to k. Now notice this time I've opted to skip the sign, the symbol that I used previously for proportionality. So b is equal to k times the cube root of a. That looks like that, the cube root of a. So now I will find what k is using the information that they gave me in that second sentence there. So b is 4.5, k times the cube root of 27. 4.5 is equal to, we work this out, which is 3. So therefore k would be equal to 4.5 divided by 3. And we get our calculator, you could work this out in your head, k is equal to 1.5. Substitute it back in here, so therefore b is equal to, k is 1.5 times by the cube root of a. That's the formula that we'll be working on to find a when b is equal to 7.5. So b is equal to 7.5 is equal to 1.5 times by the cube root of a, which is what I'm looking for. Now, to deal with this, we want to work backwards. So 7.5 will be divided by 1.5 is equal to the cube root of a. Work this out on your calculator, and this gives us 5 is equal to cube root of a. Now, how do we get this a outside of this cube root? We do the opposite operation, which is to cube it. So we cube 5 as well. So 5 cubed, 5 to the power of 3 is equal to a. Therefore, a would be equal to 5 cubed is 125. And that's our answer for this question. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. It really helps and supports the channel continue to grow.